Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jesse, and this is How to Drum and Bass, where it is my mission to teach you awesome things about drum and bass. And today, we're gonna talk about the lead of a song from Delta Heavy. Some of you requested that I do some Delta Heavy stuff, so here we go, and I'll be doing some more in the very near future as well. And the cool thing about Delta Heavy is that actually they make really great music, and especially now their new dance floor stuff is really, really popular, but it's not that hard in terms of sound design. Like, they're doing a really good job making it into an awesome tune, but the actual sounds are not that difficult. And today we're gonna see a good example of that. So one of the most popular songs from Delta Heavy from the last while is Against the Tide, the drop of which sounds like this. And so that lead is obviously super catchy. It's kind of dirty, but it's still very melodic. And I want to show you today, just really quickly, how you can make something similar. But before we start, a small message. I spent the last 2 months recording the very first How to Drum and Bass online course. It's called Drum and Bass Sound Design Mastery, and it's over 150 videos and more than 14 hours of content about sound design, specifically for drum and bass music. So we are in the pre-launch stages of the Drum and Bass Sound Design Mastery course. What that means is it's not entirely finished, but you can already pre-order it and you'll get a super special discount. As a matter of fact, it's gonna be a whole whopping 50% off. What that means is you can buy the course now and you can already get access to what is there, but it's gonna take us about a week or so to make everything look nice, to get all of the content in there, and to add all the goodies and all the stuff that's gonna make the course like a proper product before we launch officially. You can get 50% discount now if you buy early access, and you'll already get access to everything that's there now, and you just have to wait a little bit for the course to be complete. If you're interested in that, then check out the link in the description, where I will have posted the link to the product page and the discount code for you to use. This is only going to be valid for a couple of days, so you got to be really quick, because when the official launch is here, that discount is not valid anymore, so be quick. And to celebrate the release of this course, which, by the way, you can check out all the details about it and what it contains in the link in the description, but to celebrate the release of this course, I'm going to give away 1 copy for free. As a matter of fact, it will be the deluxe edition of the course that contains an insane amount of stuff, plus 2 times track feedback personally by me, a free Serum preset pack with over 100 presets, and a lot more to one of you. All you have to do is comment something down below. I don't even really care what, but maybe make it something nice, and I will pick one of you commenters at random who gets this deluxe version of the course for free, which is worth, by the way, over 200 British pounds. So make me proud. Put something cool in the comments, and maybe we'll be talking soon about free access to my new course. All right, let's move on. So let's first have a look at the notes here. If you want to follow along and take these notes down, then it's this progression for the first part and this progression for the second part. I'm also going to include the MIDI of that is as a preset in the link below. And our recreation sounds like this. That probably sounds like slightly more reverb than what you hear in the original song, but that's something that we can change. I just put it on there because I thought it sounded really nice, but the essence is still pretty much the same. Furthermore, I'll show you how to also make it a little bit more gritty or maybe a little bit more melodic. So the patch for this is actually really simple. Let's turn off actually this extra processing, and let's go and have a look at what we built, because it's wonderfully simple. So basically, we start off with a square, and I'm going to put this at 7 semitone. Now, it might seem a little bit unconventional to put the first oscillator at +7, but that's because we want this square to actually interfere with our sub. And that's also what's going to give us this raspy sort of kind of feel to the otherwise melodic sound of that lead. So yeah, that's actually just the 2 elements. We have a sub here, and you can either put it on a sine wave or this second option, which is more of a rounded square wave, -3 octaves, and then this one 3 octaves higher and +7. And what's going to happen is they're going to interfere with each other. So we've got distortion here and some EQing and some reverb, which we'll talk about in a second, but let's turn it all off for now so we can see what's going on. So now we have, if we just had a square, we had this. But then when we introduce the sub, we have extra harmonics that can start canceling each other out when we have distortion and create that grittiness. So when we add that distortion, it sounds already almost like what we want. And the reason that this +7 is important is because if we didn't do that, or if we didn't add this sub, for example, then that distortion wouldn't do what we wanted it to do. See, now it just kind of sounds louder. So I just want to give some extra context to this idea of the saturation that happens when we get this sub and this square wave together, because you can actually view it quite nicely. So the problem of working with a square shape, let's take everything off, is that, well, we have a square shape, which is basically perfectly distorted, because anything that distortion does is add harmonics, but these already have at both parts of the waveform, the negative and the positive, it has the top level of harmonics that is possible. So we can see, here you will see, if I play it at a low enough note, you will see the square wave. This is the square wave that we have right now. If we go and we add distortion to it, you will see that actually it will just add volume. The wave itself doesn't actually change. That's because there's nothing to distort, because all the harmonics are at the highest level anyway. However, let's take this distortion away. When we have a sub as, let's call it the carrier, right? Now we'll see something interesting happen. Now we see a sine wave happening that is carrying this square wave. What that means is there is headroom for the distortion to distort this carried square wave now. Just playing different octaves now, but you can see now this is the sound that we're after. We have a distorted square wave now, even though we couldn't actually really distort this. So that's really, really cool, causing this super awesome sound. And then, yeah, the only things that we really have to do to it is we can add some EQing here. So because we have this sort of full melodic sound, and we can choose to maybe accentuate a part of this frequency, yeah, to get a specific type of juice in there. So you can hear that that really does actually make a little bit of a difference. But you can also move this around and see how it sounds differently, right? Just a subtle difference, but it does make the difference. And then of course you can choose to put some reverb on here. Now I don't particularly like putting reverb on in Serum, because you usually want to put reverb at the end of the chain, and we're going to do some extra things to this. So let's not do that for now. That's what we got right now. So that's already pretty close. And then what we can do is, yeah, we can add some reverb at the end of the chain here. Let's dial this back maybe a little bit so that we have a little bit less drastic. And then we can see how we can either make it more clean or more raspy. Well, if you want to have it more clean, all you have to do really is dial back this sub. This is also where you see that less volume just means it's interfering less, which makes this distortion does less of its job. But it is a good way to fine-tune how dirty you want it to be. But if on top of that you wanted to add some extra stuff, you could try and add some extra distortion with an overdrive. Similarly, we can also grab a shaper box, for example, and do some multi-band processing. This also works really well, where we have this band here, and everything in here is getting driven, so it's getting distortion, but the rest is essentially not. And then we can get some really interesting tones that way, sort of like scrunch up those highs more and really get down to the melodic part of it, or actually give it more grit in the low end. So then it almost sounds like Game Boy-y kind of. And so yeah, there you have it. This is how to make the main lead from Delta Heavies against the Tide. Now, let me know if you like this. I know I usually do longer videos. This was kind of short, but I'm trying new stuff to make things faster and more efficient for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this shorter format as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.